episode 4. It's called No You Can't, and I have no idea why I titled it No You Can't.
I do, but I don't want to give it away. Well, I guess I've already.
You can give it away. They've already seen the.
Well, this is where you get turned down, right?
Just lead to sex anyway.
Yeah, you
at the end of the
audition.
episode, yeah. But I just feel like it feel like it comes off of a line where I must have said, yeah, it doesn't matter. So what we're looking at here is me eat a celery stick, which I enjoy celery sticks. And those are not really Bloody Marys. They're just tomato juice. But they look tasty. We bought the glasses just for this scene.
And the table.
And the chessboard, I think. A lot of traffic problems, traffic sound problems that Maria and I tried to fix ourselves, and that's when we learned that we're not sound people.
And thank God for Doug Horvat.
Doug Horvat took over and did the sound mix and really did a nice job of, that's the thing, when you don't have a budget, you want to be outside, you want to do things that make your show look more dynamic, but then you also can't stop traffic. So you make a choice, or, either everything is pristine and sounds perfect and you're just shooting in your house. Hopefully that's out in the woods where there's nothing else. Or you make the best of what you have. This is a great scene. And it shows the love between the two characters, between Adam and Abby.
And Nikki moved to Tennessee like the next day.
Right. So the way this whole scene came about is Nikki Estridge told us that she was moving. And I may have mentioned this in episode 3, and I apologize if I don't remember because we did that commentary like 10 years ago.
It was last week.
Okay. Well, it feels like 10 years in these current conditions.
Gotcha.
So we knew she was moving, so I had to come up with a plan to keep the character involved in the series, knowing that, Nikki's out of town. We came up with a strategy or a plan to have her come back one weekend to film other stuff, which she did in January, which is a few months after we shot this. So at this point, I basically, okay, she's going to someplace. She's going to go to Phoenix. Oh, by the way, I love this shot, and I remember grabbing the leaves, and I'm very happy about the way that came out. But okay, so real quick, so came up with the idea that she was going to Phoenix. We shot this scene, another scene, and then Nikki was gone, and then I had to figure out where to insert these scenes and try to, because that's the thing also, when you're working with no budget, you can't really contractually obligate your actors to be there a certain series of weekends, so you do the best you can with and you have to you kind of have to stay flexible, I think, to do it right, to be able to do 8 episodes of something and 15 minutes each with the level of talent that we have in Thespian. You have to be flexible and understand their other commitments that come up. And in Nikki's case, she was moving.
Yeah. This is the scene where we shot with what you call the true skeleton crew, where it was not even really much of a skeleton. It was just me and Tim.
Yeah, I mean, we had a sound guy who was hired for the day that didn't show up at all. The makeup person had to leave. We didn't have any extra hands. In season 2, luckily, we've had a lot more people available and able to crew. We didn't in season 1. So this is Tim Sesniak. This was the first episode that Tim shot, although he didn't shoot the chess scene. That was shot by Joey Malinsky. But this was shot by Tim. Poor guy had the camera in his hand.
Sound equipment
on his back. And remember, this is not on a tripod.
No,
so it's not like he's just trying to hold focus. He's got to be moving, balancing the sound. Maria is holding the boom mic, the boom pole with the mic, the shaka mic, the script to make sure we get our lines right.
The clapper.
Right.
And the dog.
The slate.
The slate. Excuse me. I don't know where that came from.
The clapper. Where's the clapper?
I don't know.
The slate. And she's holding our dog to make sure Rupert doesn't end up in the shots. And we got this really great scene. I'm happy with, obviously with Sasha's acting, but also, my own. I have a pretty long monologue in here, and Tim did a nice job kind of slowly moving in. Another thing in this scene, I'm talking about how in episode 3, when I had the audition for Cracked Monkey Theater, that I made up this monologue that you saw me do in that episode. When I wrote episode 3, at that point, I didn't know that Adam was going to say this in episode 4, and that it was going to be sort of the catalyst for the problems between Petra and Adam in the rest of the season. It all starts when Adam, as you're watching this scene, you remember he's talking about seeing Jordan and, getting sort of feeling intimidated. I knew when we did episode 3 and I was playing that moment, I know that Adam is watching Jordan. He's like, wow, this guy's really good. And Adam's, he still has the cobwebs. It's been a long time since he's acted, but I didn't know that literally that monologue was going to be made up. And then as I'm writing this scene, and there's Petra or Sasha, you made up a monologue or whatever the exact line is.
I called it Tunnel Crowd.
And this right there, it all comes out. This is 25 years in the making, in a way. Their relationship.
Situation. I was scared.
And by the way, that actually hurt.
I remember.
When she hit me with the paper, but it's so perfect. Sasha just plays this really well. You just decide to fucking wing it. I love the way she delivered that line. One of the things about, what separates good actors or competent actors from really kind of, I think, wonderful actors is the choices that they make from line to line. It's not just, yes, it's about being natural. Of course it is. But it's not just being natural. It's being interesting. And I think that Sasha is a very interesting actress and makes really interesting choices with, the dialogue
She's
that
always
she's given.
professional. I don't know if I mentioned this. Did I mention this about the thing that she does with her, where she switches?
Oh, you haven't mentioned it. You've mentioned it to me, but not to them.
So the great thing about being around Sasha is sometimes you can be having a conversation with her and she'll switch into her character and she won't tell you. And so suddenly you're just talking to Petra and then you realize,
who was in my
wait a minute.
That's like amazing. The intensity of effort it takes. I know for me, just writing is this like miserable.
Sasha is somebody who likes to arrive on set.
I just have to constantly remind myself
with the energy that her character has, which I, and then she always takes time to sort of, before we shoot,
anyway, folks,
to do what she needs to do, prepare to really portray this other person.
She's going to offer me a role.
Me, I just throw the hat on and what's my line?
That's not true.
It is a little easier for me, obviously, because I wrote it and, the character is based on me. And I've said this before, but also what makes it tough is that Adam is not me. And sometimes I have to remember that when I'm performing this role. Another great actress, Chelsea, Phoebe. Rachel. No, Phoebe's not her real name. That's her character's name.
That's great.
Yeah, I forgot one now. But so this read-through.
Really nice scene between the two of them. An example where an actor soared or really shined, and the role was
very small.
Started out very small and then became a major character in the season. I thought Chelsea was so good, and again, because I didn't write the whole season up front, I had the flexibility to figure out what I wanted to do with these characters, and she became this playwright, and she's got this play, and it's about the Freddie Gray riots. I was a little concerned when I came up with the idea, because I'm not.
Send it to me. I'll take a look.
Okay.
Look, you don't want to mock the Freddie Gray riots, and I wasn't, but I could definitely see somebody, especially young 20s, trying to write a play about the Freddie Gray riots, but thinking about the humor that she thinks needs to be in it, and sort of that thing.
This was so fun.
Yes.
You're named after a sneaker.
I was just looking into the monitor, going, "You got to look more high. Be more high."
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was and Tommy Duncan, who worked on Thespian as a sound person and as a shooter. He didn't shoot. He did sound on this. I really like the energy. This was one of the first scenes. Thinking now, maybe the first scene that we shot that I wasn't in.
The whole season?
Yeah.
It might have been. Yeah.
I can't think of anything else.
Right.
So, and I remember really kind of loving that.
Because you got to direct.
I could just direct.
Becomes the darling of theater critics around the
This is
world.
Eric's house.
You know,
Yes,
Thank you,
Eric
Eric.
Pock.
And it wins best play.
The energy between all four of them, and just it really captures what DIY theater kind of is, you know. And I think the difference between the way Jordan approaches the scene, Matthew Payne playing Jordan, and you know, Eric Pock as Hunter, and he's just like, you know, I don't think beer sales are going to be good for like really deep plays or whatever he says. Bunny Themelis was really great in this scene as well. It's funny. This is the scene where she should be high,
But she's not.
but she's not. But then in episode 3, she may have been high in this too.
Different approach.
It just
No.
didn't show.
We saw what she looks like.
Reviewed,
Not
right?
at first.
Okay, somebody pass me the fucking bong or whatever this fucking thing is.
It's about the aftermath of the.
There's lots of continuity problems with that
I
long
love the
thingy.
candles. Yeah, we did. I love the candles. We kind of shot this a little in too low light. I remember Tommy Duncan, who he actually shot this with his Sony A7S. He thought it was going to be too low, and he was right. But I just wanted the candles. I wanted the candles to really dominate the scene. So luckily, there's this thing called Neat Video, which is a plugin that you can buy that does an amazing job. Because when you shoot in really low light, what you're going to end up with is very noisy video. And it's going to have like that kind of digital artifact noise. It's not going to look great, but Neat Video does an amazing job of making this footage look really, really good. And then color grading and all the other things that
Okay,
you.
new rule.
You're an
Beatrice
adult
is no longer
fucking
allowed to talk
bitch.
about other people's writing after she's been eating shrimps.
The shiflet scene.
Yep, Adam walking in the rain.
Bitch.
I remember this day when you. Well, first
I
of all, we got to
I
meet.
remember you putting the hat on me.
Yeah, well, I chose the
When you
hat.
have to wear this.
Yeah, that was a good choice. We got to meet Michael Patterson this day.
Yes.
Who became a friend of ours. But I remember watching this take and holding the umbrella over Tim's head because Tim needs his umbrella. But I
Well, it's
was
the camera that he was worried about.
mostly. I was surprised with your choice of you kind of played this quirky character while you're doing your little vlog thing, and I guess I was just surprised because you weren't playing Adam. You were playing Adam preparing for it.
Well, I played that YouTube stuff, and I did that the whole
You
season
had like a game show
because
persona.
Adam's not really good at, like, he's trying to get good at being YouTube. He wants to be a YouTube personality,
That was his YouTube
but
persona.
he doesn't really.
Gotcha, yeah.
It's not really him.
I loved it.
Yeah, but that's kind of the way
But
I played it.
I was surprised.
I think if people, if we did a poll of who, you know, maybe the funniest scene in season 1, this would definitely get some votes.
I don't know. It was funny to me. It's funny.
Writing this was such a blast. I remember when I wrote the monologue that's coming up here about, you know, Adam getting into his character. It just fell out of my head. There was very little like rewriting or changing of words. This is one of those scenes that kind of came out fully formed. This is Joey Malinsky's office. He has a video production company, which I think this was a great place to shoot. I love the colors of the walls. Michael Patterson, so great in the scene. The thing about Michael is he's so demanding of himself, which, I mean, as an actor, that's fine. But when he messes up a line, which we all mess up, in season 2, there's a scene where we're doing a the point is, I mess up my lines all the time. But Patterson, when he messes them up, he just gets this look like the whole universe is about, you know, he's brought down the universe, as opposed to, hey man, it's okay.
Well, he prepares and he tries so hard and he wants to please.
And he
He wants
does
to
it.
give you a
Oh, and both of these guys were great.
Zachary
Thank you.
Pierce Brown, who plays the director. You know, one of those casting things that, you know, we saw, or at least we saw through self-taping, a lot of people for that role. But as soon as we saw his, it was game over.
Yeah.
He was so.
punch him.
I mean, I really, really wanted to punch him. Not as
Not
a
in real
person.
life. He was really nice in real life.
In fact, his character was so slimy, and he made the character so that when we get to the next episode and you see, or if you remember, Adam's dream, you know, it all comes from really what Zoe did. Zoe?
I'm the director.
I don't know.
I call him Zach.
And this Asian American gentleman is my shift leader.
Don't forget to like our Instagram. Ah, it's just
Call me
Such a
Brian.
fun scene.
Sorry.
Yep.
Quirky.
Don't forget to like our
This is
project
where
on
Adam-
Instagram.
What's a knish?
This is Adam's first rejection, right?
Professional bullshit.
Hey.
Well, not really.
what's a
Crack
knish?
Monkey, he didn't get in.
Right.
Clear.
All right.
That's episode 4. So guess what will be coming next?
5.
Yes.
Thanks. See you soon.